Hey everybody. Um, Day before yesterday we noticed that our white hen that had hidden a clutch of eggs from me, actually I don't know how many of you I've told this to, but anyway, one of my white hens that is not as tame as my Rhode Island Reds, she, it had to have been about 2 weeks, had been hiding eggs from me. And she was sitting on her clutch of eggs, and I found them. And because I thought she had died, I thought maybe she had gotten killed by a predator or something. She just kind of disappeared, and then all of a sudden, one day she was there eating like crazy. And when hens are broody, their poop is like the size of a baseball, because when they're on the nest they don't poop, and so they have to keep the eggs at a certain temperature, and so they only get off the nest, a couple times a day to relieve themselves and to eat and drink. So I had actually saw her when she had gotten off the nest, and I saw the telltale sign of the big huge baseball poop, and so I followed her very slyly, because if they think you're following them, they won't go back to the nest. But I found out where a nest was, and I've been keeping an eye on it. Well, day before yesterday, I went in and checked on her, and she had built the nest in the worst spot. It was like next to our barbecue grill in our pool yard where our swimming pool is, and it wasn't really even covered up or anything. So I had put, a few days before that, I had put an umbrella over it, because we've been having this pouring down cold, miserable rain. So I put an umbrella over her to keep her dry. And anyway, and I was checking on her. Well, one day day before yesterday, I went over to check on her, and I saw a little yellow baby with its little beak peeking out of her feathers. And then this morning, my daughter looked out her bedroom window, and she started squealing, and she's like, "Mom, white chicken." She's the only white chicken we have, and she's like, "White chicken's out with her babies." And I said, "How many babies does she have?" And she said, 2. And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe she's not done." Well, she never went back to the nest, so Mike and I went out to investigate. And when we got out there, we saw what looked like 6 dead baby birds. And I got really close to see what on earth could have caused them to die. My first suspicion was they were too cold. And one of them moved. So I grabbed it, brought it in the house, brought it in the shop, and my husband heats the shop with a kerosene heater. So I brought it in, and I started warming it up in my hands, and it started moving. And so I ran back out to the nest, and I grabbed another one, and it started moving in my hands. And so I brought it in, and we started warming that one up, and then we ran out and grabbed the rest of them, and 4 of them were dead. I mean, we tried to warm them up and get them moving, but they weren't going to have any part of it. They were still soaking wet. All these babies hatched this morning. Anyway, we brought the rest of the eggs in. I've got 5 eggs there. I don't think they're going to hatch, but that one did start to peck through. It looks like sometime today, and it was before I grabbed the eggs, so it may have already frozen to death. I don't know. And so I've got a heating pad, and then I've got a blanket over the heating pad, and then I have shavings, and then I have another towel, and then I have them, right next to the the kerosene heater. And my husband just ran to the little farm store down the road and is grabbing a heat lamp for them, because they need to be kept at at least 100 degrees for the first couple of days. So, and then gradually you warm them up. I mean, these little babies were so cold. They were like I mean, they were stiff almost. They were so cold. And the fact that they're now peeping and moving, and I'm encouraged that these two little guys are going to live. But like I said, they just hatched. And she had left the nest this morning with the other 2 babies, and she left the 6 babies that were either in the middle of being hatched or just hatched, and 4 of them froze to death. So, well, not froze, they got hypothermia. So, and then I don't know what's going to happen with these eggs, but I've got them in here in the heat too. I have no clue what to do, and I'm sure by the time y'all see this video, it'll be too late, but maybe not. I mean, anybody has any advice, please tell me. I'm definitely not one to play God with my animals, like kind of try to let them do what nature wants them to do, but sometimes you have a mom who just isn't. I mean, that hen was hatched in the 2nd week of March. She hatched. So she's only 7 months old. Like, not even 7 months old yet. And so she hatched, I think she hatched like between the 18th and the 20th of March. So she is very immature. And the fact that she even went broody, and she is a, I think it's a leghorn. She's white anyway. And so what I was saying was I don't typically interfere, but with this situation like this and her being so immature and these babies still being alive, I wanted to give them a chance. And you see this one is starting to dry up now. It's not soaking wet anymore. And they were both just still gooey wet from being hatched. And they were both on the brink of death. So this was a little bit of a miracle that I made it out when I did, and I really wish that when my daughter told me that the hen was off the nest, that I didn't go out there and check right away. But like I said, I try to let nature do its thing, and you know, because they're better at it than we are. I mean, that's what their instincts are, is to raise babies, and raise babies that are able to take care of themselves and stuff. And for example, like my Rhode Island Reds and my Black Sex Links, those chickens were very, and my Americanas, the adolescent Americanas that I have right now, they're very friendly, and they climb in my lap because I raised them by hand. And, I mean, they'll climb all over me. Now, my chickens that were hatched by my hens won't let me get anywhere near them. I mean, I can't do anything. I can't clip wings. I can't do anything with them. So, but they are better equipped to survive, in the event, I couldn't be there to protect them. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Like half of my flock are like pets, that happen to produce eggs for me, and then the other half are just there to do a job. And so I don't know. Anyway, typically I've been, unless I get them to, buy the babies from a hatchery, I let mom raise them. But these guys, looks like I'm going to raise them. So I don't know what we should name them. I think I want to have you guys give me names of what you think we should name them. One's kind of yellow and gray, and the other one is black and yellow. So anyway, this is Army Wife signing out.